because it just made it cool and nice short week. Um, and I hope yours was nice as well. As usual, this is Relationship Talk with Nike, and if what you are interested in is building a relationship that is deep, that is intimate, and that is not ephemeral, then you're in the right place because for the past few weeks, I've been able to talk about so many things that make for intimacy, the things that we can do that can help us to achieve intimacy, and those things, especially those things that work at the back of our minds that we are not particular attention to. Those things are some of the reasons why we act the way we act. Good morning, niche works, relationship dynamics, and I just want us to think about it this of us, if we are not made to think about these things, we may not get around to thinking about them. So in a relationship, when you are in any love romantic relationship, the ideal that all of us want is that we want to be extremely intimate. A lot of us, there are parts of us that are broken already, from the experiences and exposure that we have had. Probably we were not loved the way we wanted to be loved by our parents, or maybe for instance, the experiences that we've had probably with the opposite sex, our previous relationship, and all of that. And by the time we eventually get the person that we want to marry, it feels like, yes, now I have that one person that will understand me, that one person that I will be intimate with, that one person that will just get me. And it feels like it is achievable at the very beginning, because yes, we can hardly do without each other, because every time we have to be on the phone with this person, every time there's a magnetic attraction at the beginning, and it feels like it's going to remain that way forever. And the moment we begin to get closer and closer, especially after marriage, we discover that really this person maybe is not as fantastic as I thought that the person is going to be. Maybe this person is not as necessarily as fantastic as I initially thought. And one thing that I just want to establish this morning is, number one, the fact that proximity in itself is one of the reasons why intimacy, depletes, why it begins to degenerate, why it begins to feel less intense. I used to listen to a lot of songs out there, and they will say, I want to marry you, I want to carry you to my house, I want to wake up by your side every day. And it feels like, because I can't have enough of you while you're out there, the moment you come into my space, if it would make up for everything that I ever wanted from you, because now I'll get to see you regularly. But the truth is, proximity is one of those things that make intimacy feel like it is waning. And don't mind my words, I said it feels like it is waning. It is not necessarily waning, but it feels like it is waning, because now we get to see everybody, we get to see each other every day, we get to learn ourselves a bit deeper. I know your weakness and I know your strength. I know your weakness and you know my weakness as well. I know your strength, and the truth is that that's deeper part of everyone, that you have been successful in keeping away from the public. Somehow, when you are married, you are unable to hide that part from your significant other, because everybody keeps saying it. Opposites attract, and opposites attracts to what end? Opposites attracts to the end that the things that you are good at, I may not necessarily be good at that thing, but it also means that the things that you are weak at, I am strong in that place. And it is so funny that a lot of us, we don't usually flip that thing around, because yes, you are strong where I am not strong, but it also means that in the place where you are weak, I am strong. And it means that I'll be able to see you completely. And a lot of men don't prepare for this aspect. And by the way, ah, Edmond, Mr. Deromu, thanks for being here this morning. Thanks so much. I appreciate you being here. So, Madam Unko, so that I will not be so this what I'm trying to say in essence is by the time we get to be in close proximity and I am strong where you are weak, it means that everybody feels a bit uncomfortable with that relationship after a while. Because in those places where everybody feel like you are a superstar, your partner gets to see you in your raw form, and especially if your partner can unravel why you are doing that. Don't forget that there's always a motivation for any and everything we do. Say for instance, there is someone, male or female, and that this person, yeah, Pastor Nee said that men don't like vulnerability, yeah, and which is very true. And this is one of the reasons. Like I said, I just want us to understand our internal workings and why we may not like these things. The thing is, by the time you are in close proximity with someone that understands, especially why you are strong or why you are weak, it even becomes a bit more exposing. You feel exposed, and this is the reason for it. Most people, there is a motivation that makes you who you are or what you like to do. So there are people that the motivation for them is fear. The problem, this man, because yes, great as you have packaged yourself outside, and it is okay to accept that, and it is okay to know that that is what real love is. Because love is not that 45 minutes movie that we see out there. No, love is learning to accept the imperfect partner that you have, and knowing that it is okay. We make mistakes. It is okay, and it is okay for me to admit that I don't know how to do something, and it is okay for me to know that you can teach me, and it is okay for me to be growing in this relationship as well. So I think there is a lot that goes on in the dynamics of relationship that most of us don't get to think about, and which is one of the things that I would like to bring to the forefront so that we get to think about it and we make it okay and acceptable. So for instance, a very 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 organized man can marry someone that is very scattered, and it feels like, for that kind of man to be attracted to this lady, there must be something that he has seen. And when you now get into close proximity, sometimes it feels too much. That why would I arrange this? In fact, this particular example is even one of a very the very dicey one, because a woman is expected to be very clean and organized, and now that you have on your hands someone that is not as organized, it just feels like, no, this is too much. I can't keep. And every time you keep your things in a particular place, somebody reorganizes it and puts it in another place, and you're like, no, I don't understand what this is. Please, would everybody stop taking my things? And but maybe you are in that space to be able to learn that, what, you can't take life too seriously. Life cannot be taken too seriously. Maybe there are things that, yes, if it's very important to you, would you want to keep them away? And if there are things that are not important, would you just let everybody be? Because if you should not remain that way. So giving is something that should be planned. There should be a budget for where we are able to say, what do we budgeted for? Then maybe we're not going to give anything again, because our future is also